What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Earbuds. I'm Christian.
And I'm Pablo. And today we will be talking about scary movies and pretty much, I guess, like small experiences that have happened to us through those movies.
Yeah, definitely.
Personally, I feel like one of my favorites has been, I'd say I like the new Halloween movie. The Michael, or the, what's his name? Rob Zombie one. I feel like that was a pretty good, interesting, and it had enough gore in it.
Yeah, me personally, I love scary movies, but I'm the opposite of what you just said. I enjoy supernatural kind of scary, like horror.
So are we talking about like ghosts or
Ghosts, mythical creatures, scary, like haunting kind of thing. Like that's the scary movie that scares me, but I enjoy it. I don't enjoy gory slaughter movies because that to me is not scary. That's just a crazy guy's chasing you around and trying to stab you. I don't like bloody movies.
I don't really believe that because I feel like the whole ghost thing, although like it still hasn't really been proven that they're there, I feel like, the whole gore thing is more realistic. And that's kind of what scares me. That, there could be a serial killer that goes out and kills during Halloween.
I mean, but if we're talking about realistic, how are you looking at these movies? Are you looking at it like individually, this movie has this character and he's alive? Because I've seen, there's been, 5 Halloween movies where every time at the end he dies, yet somehow every movie he's alive.
And, I mean, I understand that. And although I don't really mean like, yeah, he's going to come out every Halloween. I mean, like, truthfully, there could be somebody out there who, might like do that, although he hasn't like gotten caught, and that's why we really haven't heard of him.
What about like realistically, if that's what we're talking about, when we see those movies and Michael Myers gets shot 5 times and keeps walking, or he gets hit in the head by the girl and he just like acts like it's nothing. Like there's nothing realistic about those movies either, in the sense of like a normal human being cannot go through 90% of the things that this serial killer goes through before he kills like 5 people.
See, and I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, like the whole like ghost thing just doesn't scare me. On like, he's gonna like levitate stuff through like the room, whether he lifts up a lamp and just chunks it at you. Like, I just don't think that's realistic, and that honestly just does not scare me.
I don't know. For me personally, I just think there's something smarter about that type of movie. I think the people who go into it and write it and all that stuff and set up it and direct it and everything, you have to think more about how to actually scare someone, whether it's psychologically or jump scares or things like that. Like, they have to go through that process. I think a serial killer movie like what the kinds you like, it's not that smart. It's, oh, he's behind the door and he tries to scare you and stab you. Oh, he ran behind your car and broke the window and tries to stab you. Like, there's nothing smart about it. It's always the same thing. So-and-so breaks out of prison, or so-and-so, breaks out of a psychiatric ward and chases down main girl, kills 5 people during that process, and then main girl beats him, but he doesn't die and he gets arrested, and then maybe he breaks out of jail at the end. It's always the same.
See, but like to me, it's more like just being chased. Like, that's what's scary to me. As a child, I don't know if you remember the movie, Freddy vs. Jason.
Okay.
And so I've always been, I guess, kind of scared of Jason.
Freddy's supernatural, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, I know. But I've always just been afraid of Jason. Like, as a kid, I always had nightmares of, like, him chasing me or my family, and, like, him killing a couple of my friends. Like, obviously nobody wants to be put in that situation, but I feel like it's more realistic, and that's honestly what scares me.
Okay, for me, it's scary, but when I think of a good scary movie, I'm not saying it has to be ghosts, but I'm just saying, just something smarter. For me, I don't know if it's that I watch so many movies that I just like hate if I know what's gonna happen beforehand, but I just want something smarter. That's why I like a good. I'm not even saying it has to be a ghost movie, but there was Hereditary just came out. We didn't like that movie. That movie was trash.
Terrible.
But at least we didn't really know what was coming, so it was still scary. And the reason it sucked is because we didn't expect the ending. It's just we all left like what just happened, like, kind of thing. So that's the kind of movies I like, where I have to think and I don't know what's coming next. That's my issue with the slasher movies. That a slasher movie, the genre is the genre, and it's always going to be the same. It's going to be him cutting down people. That's it. That's what you're scared of, and that's what the movie is always.
Yeah, okay, and I like the whole cutting down genre because, I mean, although you do know what happens, I also hate the fact that, like, there always has to be, like, a happy ending. I've never really been a big fan of that. I've always I like, root for, evil to win. Like, it's not known a lot for, like, like, Jason to just, I wouldn't say live happily ever after, but, continue, like, killing. Like, there's not really movies like that. And although, like, I'd like for them to be,
but if that's the kind of movies you like, then I would think you would like ghost movies more. Because for the most part, ghost movies always have that twist ending where you think someone lives happily ever after, and then boom, he looks at the camera and you see, like, the eyes go full black, or you see that smile where like, oh crap, like, he got taken over, or the bad guy sometimes does win, like what we just talked about, Hereditary. The bad guy won, so there's all those, like, if that's what you like, then I would assume you like more so ghost movies, because there is always, like, twist, sad endings compared to the slasher film. The slasher film, the best happy ending that you get, for the most part, I will say maybe there's one or two where, everyone dies. But for the most part, especially in a legit slasher where it's one person or something like that, those movies always end with, like, the protagonist beating the slasher guy. Whether it's him going to jail, dying, or you think he's dead. That's the best happy ending those movies normally get. Normally you get that whole, she kicked him off, like, the second floor, and he landed on the ground, and she thought he was dead, and the police show up, and they go to where he was on the ground, and he's gone. That's normally your best happy ending. It's that he survived for another movie. But you don't get something where, like, he kills the girl, and everybody's like, yay!
I would like that. I would like for, I guess, the bad guy to be able to kill the protagonist and just walk away, and I wouldn't even mind, like, him walking toward, like, where on the street signs, how sometimes they'll say, like, 200 miles to Dallas.
Yeah.
I would honestly...
That way the next movie is going to be Jason in Dallas.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I could, like, really get excited for that.
Yeah. I think it's cool when a movie leaves you an opening to have a sequel. I love that. I hate when they don't go through on it, though. I hate if you tease me. And then, of course, sometimes, it's not movie's fault. Sometimes, like, that movie bombed, so the filmers are like, we're not going to pay for another one. I get that. But I definitely love those kinds of endings. It's just, like I said, for me, I like a smart film over a bloody film. Like, if you said, hey, let's watch The Conjuring or let's watch Saw, I would say, let's watch The Conjuring 1,000 times over, because Saw is just, let's see how gory we can make things. And The Conjuring is, scare here, scare there, who's what, this and that.
I like the Saw series. I liked how you pretty much like...
is terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Saw movies are the worst. If your movies go to like eight sequels and there's a 3D in there, that means your movies are trash. It's
no,
just
that means
fact.
They're good.
Final Destination, Saw, Fast and the Furious. The Rock did save the Fast and the Furious, but in the middle for a good while it was trash. I don't think there's anything smart about gory. I think it has its people. Like, obviously you like it. I think people like to see blood and murder for some reason, you psychopath. But I think it's not smart at all, and it's not original. I mean, I guess Saw in its time was original, but now there's so many spin-offs of, like, torture movies that it's not original anymore, which is why I like like I said, the Conjuring universe was actually created by the guy who created Saw. His name is James Wan. And I love that universe because it's smart and it's different from what's been done before. And he was the first person to make a universe. He made the Conjuring universe, and then, you know, DC and Marvel and all that stuff came out. Like, he did that on his own with his own content. Like, he didn't need to hop on like a comics from 1940s or things like that.
Yeah.
But you can't make a universe out of Saw. It's not like someone's gonna survive that puzzle and then go into this room and then start another puzzle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's never... If it can't only go one direction, then I think it's not that smart and not that great as far as content.
See, I like the Saw series because they had to, like, figure out those puzzles. And
no one figures out the puzzles, ever. I think one person survives.
There were a couple. But
then they come back in the next movie and die. That's what always happens. They're like, oh man, he survived. And then Saw 4... I'll go back in there and I'll help everybody. And he dies.
Yeah, I get that. But like I was saying, I like that he had to figure out the puzzle. I like that, like, he pretty much had to, like, fight for his life. Because it just, shows that, like, a human being can, like, just push and push and push themselves through, like, complete pain to, like, just survive.
Look, if you feel that way, you should be watching sports movies, not Saw. Because half the time, and I know this is the whole point, but the first, like, 5 people who always die never really have a chance. Like, it's like, oh, you're in this machine that's going to break your back. To get out of it, you have to reach this. But it's not within your reach. Good luck. Like, I know it's the point of the movie, but the fact that there's no chance of survival for certain people makes me mad. That they like, what's the point of, like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really like gore that much, so I would turn away. So for me, I feel like I'd have my eyes closed or turned away most of the time, because most of the time they don't even have a chance.
See, okay. All right, let's hop off the Saw topic. So, I don't know if you're a fan of, but, like, let's say the Paranormal Activity movies.
Okay.
In my personal opinion, I think they are all trash. Like, I don't see how, something paranormal can just, like, hop in there and, like I said, just be throwing around lamps and just trying to scare you.
I think, me personally, I was a fan when the first movie came out because it was unique in my head, which is what I'm talking about. When it's different, that's why it catches my interest. But I do agree with you. Now, when I rewatch it, especially after watching, like, the Conjuring universe type of movies, like Insidious and those types of movies.
Yeah, I like those movies.
I do think Paranormal Activity is kind of trash. I think the fact that you can go a whole, like, the movie's like an hour and a half, and you go like 50 minutes with nothing happening, and then you go 10 minutes with things slightly moving, and then you go those last 5 where just, like, all hell breaks loose.
Okay, I guess, like, you said The Conjuring. And I guess to me that's like I guess that's kind of like in the middle of what we're both saying. Because, they actually put, like, something that could become real, like, into place, like the demon and stuff. But at the same time, like, I don't know if you've seen the new Nun movie. It's like an actual person, a demon. And so it takes possession of a nun, and so pretty much a nun is, like, trying to, like, is the demon just trying to, like, leave the castle?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, the demon becomes an actual person.
Yeah.
And so
what you're saying is, like, you're not a fan of just a haunting kind of movie? Like, there has to be, like, a physical possession for you to be, like,
realness too.
Yeah. I get you. I understand. Not, like I said, I think slasher movies are good for its genre. I'm just saying, if you're asking me, like, what are the best kind of scary movies, I think the best kind of scary movies are a smart, suspenseful one. For me personally, that's the ones I enjoy the most. I do think people love, slasher style or just gory movies. But if you were just asking me, I think a good, scary, I have to think about it for a little bit and be like, whoa, what just happened kind of movie. Like I said, like The Conjuring, Insidious, that one has some crazy endings. And just all those types of like ghost movies or haunting movies, demon possession movies. Those are the ones that I enjoy watching because there's always such like history and culture behind it. Like, they're like, oh, this demon from this pagan worship, blah 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 blah. Like there's always so much behind it that I love compared to a slasher movie where they're like, oh, Jason got burned or thrown into the lake by his mom who hates him and he came back wanting to kill everybody. Like, I guess there's a little bit of a history, but it's not interesting. It's just,
I mean, in my eyes, I see it as like being thrown into like,
that is what happened, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's something along those lines. It's like, okay, let's just go off of that. Like, being thrown in the lake, like, what happens in like those few moments that you're in the lake that possesses you to like go off and kill everybody?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think scary movies are coming back, which I love.
Oh yes.
And I love that there's a balance. I think there's a balance because, like you said, Halloween's coming out right now, and that's getting a lot of high reviews and things like that. And I think it'll do great. And also, just in that same sense, The Conjuring's coming out, Insidious is coming out. The Nun, you said, just came out. That movie was still good. It wasn't exactly what I expected. I had higher expectations.
Yeah, I had high expectations as well.
But that's just because of track record. They've came out with like 5 good movies. So yeah, the 6th one wasn't that great, but it was still good. And I'm still excited for what's next. I'll watch Halloween with you if you want. We can. We'll make a balance of.
Which one was your favorite of The Conjuring?
I honestly really like the second one. It's where they go to England, and there's like a family whose daughter is being possessed, and there's just a lot of like different elements to that movie, and like just the suspense builds throughout the whole thing. And I was I actually was like on the edge of my seat watching that movie. The other ones are all great. There's no issue, and I love Insidious also. Insidious is really good, all those movies. But I think The Conjuring became one of my favorite scary films that I can remember, definitely. But I don't know, which one was your favorite?
From The Conjuring, I'd have to say I'd have to go with Conjuring too. I also that's the one where the nun was introduced, correct?
Yeah, that's where he popped up.
See, I love that. I love that they added the nun in there. I mean, like I said, it just to me just throws some more realism in there. Like like I said, somebody could be possessed and just trying to go after you for whatever reason you did.
No, I definitely agree. I think, like you said though, there's a good balance. You can be more than happy to like slasher movies, and I'm more than happy to like haunting movies. And the cool thing is that since the genre's starting to come back in good quality, because I think throughout the 2000s there was really no scary movies in the sense of like hauntings.
Terrible.
And all those slasher films were always like B list films and things like that. So I think it's cool to see like someone A-list like Jamie Lee Curtis come back to her roots because she started in Halloween, and just get some better quality scary movies out there.